These are 25 WWE matches where wrestlers threw the script and swung for real. Some left legends busted open, others ended careers, and a few are still argued about today. But what happens when someone makes the Beast angry? Braun Strowman drilled Brock Lesnar with a knee that landed way too hard. Brock didn't hesitate. He fired back with a real punch that dropped Braun to a knee. You can see Braun nod, almost apologizing mid-match. It was a live lesson. Don't stiff the Beast. And yet, this wasn't Brock's first time blurring the line between scripted and shoot. Just ask Randy Orton about SummerSlam 2016. WWE hyped Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar as a showdown of legends, but fans weren't ready for how it ended. Lesnar rained down elbows straight to Orton's head, splitting him wide open the hard way. Blood poured, medics rushed in, and the match ended with confusion. Reports say even Chris Jericho confronted Brock backstage. If that rattled you, watch how Brock treated John Cena like a real fight in 2012. Brock's comeback was pure chaos. He busted Cena's mouth open in minutes, tossed him like a rag doll, and crashed him into the barricade. It didn't look like WWE, it looked like a cage fight. Cena survived, but the script felt torn in half. And see what happened when a rookie trapped Kurt Angle on live TV. Angle was stretching tough enough rookies on live TV. Then, Daniel Puder slapped on a Kimura and was seconds from breaking Angle's arm until a lightning-fast pin saved the day. Everyone watching felt it. This wasn't the plan. WWE wasn't going to let it slide. Next stop, the Royal Rumble, where the veterans dished out the kind of lesson you can hear through the screen. Puder entered the Rumble and the vets went to work. Benoit, Hardcore Holly, and Eddie Guerrero took turns chopping and hitting him hard enough to welt his chest bright red. It was locker room justice in front of the world. Puder's trajectory never recovered. If you think that was rough, wait until a grudge at an ECW reunion turned into real punches and real blood. The ECW reunion broke into a wild brawl, but JBL made it personal. He went after the Blue Meanie and threw real punches, busting him open in the middle of the chaos. Meanie's face swelled as the cameras tried to keep up. They later turned it into a storyline, but the damage was already done. That's the real fight. An old grudge paid off with legit shots. And when veterans enforce respect on TV, it can look a lot like what came next. Public Enemy didn't want to do the table spot. Bradshaw and Farouk stopped working and started hitting for real. Hard forearms, clotheslines with no give, then forced them through the table anyway. No setup, no friendly rhythm, just pressure until it broke. That's the real fight. Do the finish or get forced through it. Next, watch one mistake turn into a beating. Perry Saturn versus Mike Bell. One botch and the temperature spiked. Saturn spiked Mike Bell with a shoot throw to the floor, ragdolled him, and peppered him with potatoes while the ref panicked. The camera couldn't hide Bell's daze or Saturn's switch flipping from performance to punishment. It's one of WWE's ugliest on-air meltdowns, but not every real moment comes from anger. Sometimes it's a legit fighter bringing his full arsenal inside a WWE ring. No holds barred meant Shamrock's kind of real. He hammered Vader with true body shots and low kicks. Vader answered with snug bombs that left marks. The work never vanished, but those exchanges were live. You can hear Vader's air leave on those ribs. It felt like a Pride tape slipped into a WWF show. And if you want another kind of too real, look at what happened when The Rock kept swinging steel at a handcuffed Mankind. They planned handcuffs. What they got was escalation. Rock delivered a barrage of unprotected chair shots to Mankind's head while he couldn't defend himself. Kids cried, adults winced, and the cameras just kept rolling. Foley finished. The safety debate never did. And when a stunt refuses to cooperate, force can turn a showpiece into a shoot test. Just ask Shane McMahon about plate glass. They planned to throw Shane through the glass, but the glass didn't break. Angle tried again. The glass finally shattered. It turned into a brutal test of pain, not a stunt. And if you want too real without any props, the blood loss in Eddie Guerrero versus JBL is something you can't fake. One stiff shot set it off, and Eddie started bleeding the hard way. The ring looked like a crime scene, and even the crowd went quiet. JBL kept throwing heavy shots while Eddie refused to go down. It stopped looking like wrestling and started looking like survival. And sometimes real doesn't come from blood. It comes from a star losing his temper in the middle of a match. One spot got messed up and Shawn snapped. He yelled, "Move!" then slapped and kicked Vader for real, breaking the flow of the match. The whole arena could feel the change. This wasn't acting, it was a warning. The rest of the match stayed tense, with both men forcing it to the end. And if you want to see controlled cruelty instead of chaos, look at how Brock Lesnar made Hell in a Cell feel like a real fight. Inside the cell, Brock and Taker dropped the act and went heavy. Brock split Taker open the hard way and even rubbed his knuckles into the cut, turning it nastier by the second. With Taker's injured hand already in play, it felt less like a match and more like calculated cruelty. And years later, Brock used the same kind of hard elbows again, this time on Roman Reigns in a WrestleMania main event. The coronation never happened. Brock smashed Roman with real elbows, splitting him open instantly. Blood poured, trainers hovered, and the finish felt like landing a damaged plane. It's one of those moments where fans ask, was that supposed to happen? And if you want proof that real shots don't care about size, just look at what happened when Floyd Mayweather broke a giant's nose. The pull apart was meant to be gentle. Floyd punched for real and broke Big Show's nose. The shock on Show's face sold it more than any camera cut. At WrestleMania, they blended spectacle with snug and flirted with another mishap. Outsiders can crack the veneer, but sometimes two pros do it themselves in front of millions. Becky's injury put Ronda across from Charlotte, and the pressure showed. The match grew stiff early, then Charlotte snapped after the bell. Kendo sticks, a chair, and welts blooming across Ronda's back. You could see the marks forming in real time. It proved control is fragile, even for elites, and sometimes that loss of control doesn't wait until after the bell. It happens mid-match, with two pros abandoning cooperation in front of millions. The timing fell apart, and communication broke down. For a stretch, it wasn't a match at all. Awkward tie-ups, shoot slaps, and glares that told the story. Then, suddenly, they reset and got back on track. It was the strangest kind of real, an argument inside a wrestling ring. But if you prefer pure stiffness without the misfires, the next clash gave you nothing but brutality. No drama, no storyline, just violence. Every chop echoed, Sheamus's chest turned purple, and the strikes sounded like they hurt because they did. It felt closer to a pub fight than a championship bout, and you could measure the punishment by the color of Sheamus's torso. That's what happens when two tanks collide, and if you want to see real-life heat layered on top of stiffness, the next one had it in spades. The bell rang, and the grudge boiled over. Matt came in swinging, and Edge fired back with potatoes of his own. It wasn't chaos, it was catharsis you couldn't choreograph. Close-ups caught the jawing, the stiff shots, and the refusal to pull punches. That's what a real-life feud looks like under the lights. But if you want zero storyline and actual punches, WWE once booked a legit tournament to settle it in the ring. This was no storyline. It was a real tournament on WWE TV, gloves, takedowns, knockdowns, and knockouts. The favorite was Dr. Death, but Bart Gunn's left hand tore up the script with a clean KO. Plans collapsed instantly. No work, no protection, just physics. And Bart wasn't finished. The final round gave him another chance to show reality doesn't care about reputations. Bradshaw swung heavy, but Bart countered and knocked him cold. Another KO, another reminder that booking means nothing when fists are real. Gunn looked unstoppable, so WWE came up with a different test. Put him against a world-class boxer on the biggest stage and see what happens. 34 seconds. That's all it took for Butterbean's right hand to erase Bart Gunn. The knockout was so violent the arena went silent. Reality didn't blend here, it bulldozed. And back on the wrestling side, real often showed up in the form of public receipts when veterans dished out punishment in the ring. Heat over a rental car spilled into the match. Holly hit stiff forearms and slams with no give, while Dupree covered up like a man trying to survive rounds, not trade spots. It blurred the line. Still a match, but not friendly. And if you want to see old school enforcement in its purest form, our final stop is the ultimate example. Warrior charged in wild, but Andre shut it down. He cracked him with stiff clubs and a real headbutt, then slowed him down by force. No clever edits, no safety net, just a giant reminding a rookie who was in charge. The fight only ended once Andre got the respect he demanded. And if you thought these shoot fights were intense, wait until you see what happens when injuries get caught live on camera. Check out our next video, 30 most insane WWE injuries caught on camera.